Good afternoon, Colin here with Techout, and today I'm going to be doing my one-day first impressions of the OnePlus Open. As somebody that has come from the Galaxy Z Fold 5, the Galaxy Z Flip 5, and all my foldable devices have all been Samsung devices. So I want to compare this to them. Now I don't have my Z Fold 5 anymore. I did sell that a couple months ago, and I did pick up the Z Flip 5 just to have something a little bit smaller. And I think it was about a week or two later actually that OnePlus announced the Open. Now the Open is heavily, I don't even want to say designed on the Oppo Find N3, because this is basically a OnePlus branded Oppo Find N3. If you look at the Oppo Find N3, it is exactly the same in terms of design, the camera, everything. Now this is not a glass back on the black one. It is a kind of like a fake leather. I forget exactly what they call it. If you get the green one, it is a frosted glass back. Now I really do like how this feels. It's quite unique as opposed to a glass back phone, and you don't have to worry about it necessarily cracking or, you know, scratching up as much. We'll have to see how this wears after a while, because obviously it's probably going to wear going in and out of a pocket and stuff like that, and it's not something that you can easily replace, like whereas a case you can just pop it off, put a new one on, if that's the case with a case on the back of your phone. So we'll have to see how this wears and stuff like that over time, but I'm not too concerned about it. It's not the first phone of its kind to have a back like this, so not too concerned about that. Here is the hinge. The hinge is very, very nice. It feels very nice in the hand. I like how it's kind of squared off right here, kind of where your thumb would rest, as opposed to the Samsung where it's kind of got almost like a rounded curve to it. Very, very nice. It is an aluminum hinge. There are some titanium parts internally on the phone as well that reduce the weight. So this weighs about as much as an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So if you're familiar with that kind of stuff, that is about how much this phone weighs. So very, very nice feeling in the hand. As far as the outside display, this is one of my favorite features when comparing it to the Z Fold 5, and that's the fact that the outer screen is a little bit wider. It is much more usable than the Z Fold 5. And when I had a Z Fold 5, I've had the Fold ever since the Fold 3. I had the Fold 3, the Fold 4, the Fold 5, and it was never an issue to me. I always said, it's actually nice having a thin display on the outside because it's easy for one-handed use. And the more I used it, and the less I use the inside display when I'm out and about, when I'm walking around, stuff like that, where I don't really want to unfold the phone into almost, a tablet size, the screen was great. But then for times where I did want to use, stuff like that, it was like, I don't really want the smaller display. This one is perfect because I can use the phone completely normally. The outside display is basically the same size as something like an iPhone. Here's my iPhone 15 Pro Max, kind of side by side right there, and then here's my 15 Pro Max, right under it. They're just about the same width. I'm sure this one's probably a little bit larger without, looking at official measurements or anything like that, but this one is so close that it's not entirely different. It doesn't feel fundamentally different from a regular candy bar smartphone. And that's what a lot of people say about the OnePlus Open is it feels so good when it's closed that it feels like you're using just a regular candy bar style smartphone. So very, very nice that you have the best of both worlds and it doesn't feel like you're compromising on one or the other. Now opening this thing up, very, very nice inner display. And before we get into that, we'll talk about the hinge and the opening of the phone. It opens very nice. The hinge feels nice and tight. And when I say that, I don't mean like it's stiff or anything like that. I mean it's just right. It's not too loose. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like it's just going to fall apart. The phone opens and it snaps right into place, just as it should. And it opens completely flat, as you can see there. You don't have to force it or push on it or anything like that. I know that was a common thing with the Pixel Fold, is that it kind of opened like, a few degrees from flat, and you kind of had to give it a little tweak to open it all the way. So this is just the default wallpaper. I haven't done too much customization in that regard. I've just set up my apps and stuff like that, or some of my apps at least. The only complaint I have with this phone is the home screen layout. I did like on the Samsung how the outer screen excuse me, the outer screen and the inner screen were separate on their layouts. So I could, I could set up all my pages on the outer screen, and then I could set up my pages on the inner screen. On this phone, as you can see, this is my first page, this is my second page, and that's all I have. I don't have more than 2 pages. But if I open the phone, I only have 1 page, and that's because the left side right here is my first page, and the right side is my second page of what would be on the outside display. And I really liked when it was separate on the Samsung, because I would put all my common apps that I would use without opening the phone. They'd be right here ready to go on the home screen on the outer display, whereas I would put my other apps like YouTube, web browser, stuff that I would always open the phone to use, would have a dedicated spot on the inner display, and I would have the dock and stuff down there, and all that would be separate. Whereas this, you can only put 4 icons down here, and then you have your app drawer right here, which is nice, that it opens up like this, which you can change, I believe. You can turn that off down here. And if you hold right here, you can actually go into the taskbar settings, and you can put recent files over here. You can turn on recent apps, which will add a few more to the dock itself, but you can only have the 4 that you normally have down here on the dock. You can't add any more than 4, which kind of sucks, especially for when the phone is opened. But that's my one gripe with the home screen layout there. One feature I really do like that has kind of been improved upon from what Samsung does is when you close the phone, you have 3 seconds to swipe up to continue the use of whatever app you're in, or just the home screen. Samsung, you can do that. You have to turn it on app by app. So say like YouTube, I wanted YouTube to continue on the cover screen when I closed it, I could turn that on for YouTube. This phone, it's system wide, so you have 3 seconds to swipe, doesn't matter where you are, and even on the home screen that works. You can customize that here in the main screen settings. If you go in here and you go to screen switching, you can put it on continue using, which will automatically just turn it on the screen when you close it again. You can do the swipe up to continue using, which is what I have it on, or you can have it lock the phone and turn the screen off. So completely customizable there, and I do like that that works in any app. Some of the Samsung ones where the app had to resize when it was when the screen switched weren't supported in doing that. I have not found that to be the case here on the Open. Some apps like YouTube Studio, which I don't want to show too much of that because it's got my analytics and my money and stuff in there for my channel, so I'm going to kind of keep it off to the side like this. But when I do this and then I swipe up, the app does not have to resize. It just transfers seamlessly between the 2 screens, which is very nice. So no issues there. So a lot of those apps seem to be very compatible with the outside and the inner screen without any adjustments or anything like that. And I found that to be the case on any of these applications. I haven't had to change any settings for those or anything like that. Battery life, we'll talk about that real quick. We'll pop in here. So 1 hour and 10 minutes, I'm at 85%. And that is just kind of some on and off usage today. I've been driving around, so it's been a mix of cellular data as well as on Wi-Fi when I've been here at home. It's 4:30. I unplugged this probably about 10:30 this morning is about what it was, and then it's been with me in my car ever since, running some errands and doing some stuff like that. So battery life, very, very respectable. And of course, I haven't used it yet, but with the OnePlus Open, we do have the 65 watt SuperVoot fast charging here, which is the fastest here in America with a foldable, at least, because the Flip 5 and the Fold 5 are all 25 watt fast charge is what they max out at. Now this phone does not have wireless charging, which isn't a huge deal breaker for me. I do use wireless charging, but I really only use it in my car. It's not like a convenience thing for me at home or anything like that, so not a huge deal for me when I'm here at home. But my car mount does have wireless charging on it, so that does not work with this phone, of course. So I do have to plug it in, which is okay because I usually do end up plugging it in for Android Auto anyway. My iPhone, I have a wireless CarPlay adapter, so I do carry this as a second phone, and most times I will just pop this on the wireless charging mount and use my wireless CarPlay because I have that adapter. So it's not a huge deal because the battery life on this phone is good enough to where I don't have to, there's really no need to be charging it in the car going between places or anything like that, because the battery life is just fine. I haven't had an issue with that. But that is my one day kind of first impressions and review of the OnePlus Open. Absolutely love this phone. I love this phone a lot more than I did the Fold, to be honest, and I do see myself using this long term. So we'll have to see about the long term durability. I know some units had some issues with the inner screen within a few days, so hopefully we don't have any issues like that. I do have a protection plan on this with SquareTrade. I went ahead and just used them instead of OnePlus, just because I feel like they'd be a little bit easier to deal with if I did have any issues down the road, or if OnePlus wouldn't cover something, then I do have that plan with SquareTrade for that coverage. So that is that. And that is my OnePlus Open one day kind of first impressions. Maybe I'll do a one day, then a 1 week, and maybe update you guys every few months after that. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see, or there's anything you guys want to know about the phone after I've used it some. Drop that down in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. I am Colin with Techout. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.